Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I hope you're as happy as I am that it is finally spring and April is just around the corner. So today I'm going to be showing you how I set up my bullet journal for April, and this month I wanted to go full out with the spring theme because I am so happy and ready for the weather to warm up. So I created this wildflower meadow theme and I really love how it came out. So let's get started. Alright, so starting off with the cover page, I am doing some brush lettering and I'm just writing April with my Micron brush tipped pen. I like using this pen for really big headers because it has a really soft tip, so I'm able to get really thick strokes with this pen. And then coming out of the tail end of the L, I just drew this little dashed line and I drew a butterfly on the other side of it so it kind of looks like a flying trail. And then I created a little mini calendar with all the days of the month underneath that. Then along the bottom, I'm going to be creating a meadow scene. And some of the things I want to include this month are butterflies, as you see in the title, and also little bunnies, and I think this is perfect because Easter is also in April, so this works with the meadow theme and also with Easter if you celebrate that. And then in a lot of the pages, I'm going to fill them in with wildflowers. I just googled some wildflower photos and illustrations, and I had practiced a few different types of flowers and styles in my sketchbook before I came into my bullet journal to do this. But I just wanted to sketch out a bunch of different types so that I knew which ones I liked. So right now I'm just picking a few different ones. You'll see that I have different types of flowers and I'm just mixing and matching them. I think the beauty of wildflowers and meadows is that there are so many different types of flowers in one place, so that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate here. Of course, if you'd like, you can just stick to one type of flower, and if you do that, I would just recommend that you vary different heights of flowers, even if they're all the same type. And maybe you can have the flower at different stages, like include some blooming flowers but also some buds, and that will give you some nice variety without having to go and illustrate 10 different types of flowers. By the way, for all of these illustrations, I'm just using my various weights of Micron pens, which you see me use all the time in my bullet journal, and they're my favorite pen for illustrating. After I've filled in a good number of different types of wildflowers, I'm taking a brush pen. This is actually a different pen. This one is a new one that I recently got. It's a Pentel Fude Touch pen. I'll leave a link for this down in the description box below, but I'm just filling in space by making these long grassy strokes. And I'm also creating little shorter clusters of grass as well near the bottom of the page. And I really like the way this particular pen worked for this because it has a pretty stiff and skinny brush tip, and it kind of feathered out towards the ends of the strokes if you apply the right pressure to it. And I think that that created some really nice realistic grass leaves. I'm filling in some more space by drawing a couple more butterflies. One of them is resting on top of a flower and the other one is flying around, and I just drew in these nice curly trails for them with the dashed lines. Then I picked a really pretty color of Tombow pen. This is just this gorgeous fuchsia color that I thought would be so perfect for all of these flowers. And I just added some color to the downstrokes in my header, and I'm also filling in some of these flowers with this color as well. You know I love to make these monochrome monthly themes, so this is my color for the month. And I don't normally go for pinks, but I just think it works so well with this theme. I also thought the bunny wasn't sticking out quite enough, so I just added a drop shadow to him as well, and I also outlined him in a slightly thicker weight of pen. Alright, so moving on to the other side of this page, I'm doing a quote on this page and I just picked one that's a really nice pretty spring quote, and I'm going to be drawing a wreath of wildflowers around it. This is pretty similar to what I did for the cover page for March, and I really like how that came out with the foresty pine needles that I did, so I'm just recreating this in more of a spring theme with the flowers. And I really like this quote because I actually did this before it turned to spring and I was anxiously awaiting it, so this was just a nice reminder for me that spring was coming. And even though it's already spring now, I just think it's still really pretty. And yeah, I just used my Pentel Fude Touch pen to do this really quick, easy brush script. I'm not the best at brush scripts, but basically what I tried to do is I just put more pressure on all my downstrokes and then kind of hope that it turns out okay. And then I'll usually go in and just clean up those strokes and make the thicker strokes even thicker by adding another pass with my pen. And now I'm working on the flower wreath. So I'm going in and filling them by picking one type of flower at a time, and then I'll just go around and randomly space them and then pick another type of flower and put those in too. It just helps me to sort of make things evenly spaced and to also make sure I get it in a nice oval shape, because sometimes if I just do them one after another, I sort of get tunnel vision and I end up with a shape that is not the original shape that I had been intending. So I do have some pencil lines to help guide me as well. Most of the flowers that I'm drawing are the same types of flowers that I used on the other side of this page, but they're much shorter branches and I'm just making them a little smaller so that they can fit in this wreath shape a little better. This did take a little bit of time just because I had to draw so many little flowers, but I really like how it came out, so I think it was worth it in the end. These cover pages always take the most time for me because there's a good amount of illustration, and I'd say this spread combined took me maybe an hour. But when I am flipping through my notebook later, these are always the pages that make me happiest, so I'm always really happy that I took the time and I forced myself to have the patience to do this, because it really is such a nice, pretty little thing to look at when you're flipping through your journal. So like I said, that quote page really did take a while for me, but in order to make it easier for you, I turned it into the printable for this month, so you can make sure that you're on my newsletter list, because you'll just get this sent straight to your email, and then you can just print it out and tape it into your journal with some washi tape, and that will save you so much time. If you're not signed up to my newsletter, I'll have a link down below and you can sign up for that, and every month you'll get my free printable sent straight to your inbox. Okay, so now I finished with the basic illustrations in my black pen, and I'm going in with that fuchsia color again and adding some color to a few of the words and also to the flowers as I did on the other side. Okay, so moving on to the next spread, I'm going to be doing a larger monthly overview just with a bigger calendar that has space for me to actually write my appointments and other scheduling things in the boxes. So this is going to be a 2-page calendar, and along the top I just did the same style of lettering that I did on my cover page, just with the script and then the little butterfly coming out of the end. I'm making a kind of open layout of calendar this month, honestly just because it's faster. So all I do is put in the horizontal lines and I don't create a box around it, and I don't create the vertical lines just because I don't really think they're necessary. I drew in all of these little circles to have the dates in them, and I think that's enough of a vertical marker for me to separate the boxes. But it's up to you. If you like the look of a full box, then you can go ahead and close that in. And then on the right side, I had some space for a skinny little box for me to write my goals for the month. Then I'm basically just going to do the same thing as on the cover page and just fill up that whole bottom area with a pretty little meadow scene. This time I changed the bunny a little bit and I made him a leaping bunny, and I thought that was just a fun little different way to switch it up. But again, I'm going in with different varieties of flowers. I think one of my favorite ones that I ended up drawing on these pages is sort of like this baby's breath flower, and I liked it because it was really pretty and also super easy to draw. So all you have to do is draw this branch with lots of different little branches coming out of it, and then you just have to use the tip of your brush pen and just really quickly dab at the page and make those little dots, and it just makes it look really dainty and delicate, and it's so easy to do. And then again, I'm using my Pentel Fude Touch pen to create the little grass strokes because I like the way it looked with that best. But of course you can just use whatever you have, it doesn't make too much of a difference. For the next page, I'm just making an open-ended brain dump page. This is just a page for you to write down any random thoughts that don't really warrant their own page, but they still need a place to go. So yeah, this is just a really simple page. Honestly, I was kind of too lazy to draw more flowers at this point, so I just created a freeform border around the edge, and I did mess up my lines a little, so I just drew in a few flowers, and I really like the way this looks. It's really simple, but it has just enough of that little flower detail for it to be really pretty and dainty. And then for the next page, I'm copying the same thing that I did last month that I ended up really liking, which is to have one side of the page sort of be a simple tracker for all of the things that I read and watch throughout the month, and then on the other side of the page, I have a space for me to do my favorites at the end of the month. I really like the look of these freeform boxes that I did for these categories. They sort of look like a collage style, and I really like that. And it's a style that I'm going to be trying out more in my bullet journal. And then for another different type of bunny for this one, I drew one that was facing the other way, so you sort of just see the backside of him, and I thought that was really cute, and I drew a little carrot next to him as well. Okay, so that's actually my final spread for this month. I'm not going to be doing weekly spreads as I usually do. If you've been here before, you know that I usually pick one weekly spread layout, and I'll just do that for the whole month. I'll just go and set them up all at once at the beginning of the month. But next week I'm planning on doing a video on 5 different types of weekly layouts, and I'm going to be doing that for April since there are 5 weeks in April. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed and turn that notification bell on so that you will be notified when my new videos come out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this bullet journal setup, and I will see you guys again next time.